Hi, everybody. We are now live for the G.Gurus Podcast. Not a lot of people know about us yet. We're just starting out. I want to say hi and thank you, everyone, for joining in. We have some special guests today. The incomparable Kira the Hedgehog. It's her first podcast. Say hi, Kira.
Hey, everyone.
Yes, Kira the Hedgehog. She is very into hedgehogs. And we also have another special guest, Jordan. He is not an official member of the Gurus, but he is a very lively gentleman, so I thought we should have him on. Say hi.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
And I'm going to save the special guest for last, but we have JC as well. Hi, JC.
How like me? I'm a special guest. I thought I'd been here before.
He was here in the first two.
And that was also High Games, also known as Grant. And we also, say hi, Grant.
Hi.
Wait a minute, that was my intro?
We have Adam from RVD Power. How are you, Adam?
Pretty good. How's it going, guys?
Pretty good. And the special person who started this all, we'll start the podcast and got everything all organized and very happy, and thank you, is Blue Neon Pinky, also known as Jesse.
What up?
And our special guest, the very well-known, the Completionist, the man, the legend, not really that's because he's right here. We know him. So.
The man of the hour.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing today?
All right. So we're very happy to have you. Thank you for joining us today. You're a very busy man. You just beat Resident Evil, 4 or 3 times?
Resident Evil 1 6 times.
6.
Holy
wow.
God.
Busy man. Video game is work for you. So we're here today to talk about retro gaming, what our favorite generations were, our favorite moments, and we can branch off. Probably someone will bring up a good note, and we'll branch off into different topics. But we want to talk what's our favorite generation, and I guess I'll start. My favorite, which is what was brought up in, was the PlayStation 1, and I think it was the 5th generation in terms of consoles, not handheld.
Yes, it was. It was the 5th generation.
That was my favorite. That was my first. And I grew up with Tomb Raider and all those games. And I still think that was the end of the classics. Games are coming out so fast. They gotta wait.
Whoa, you're cut. Whoa, what happened to Josh?
Yes.
Did you just stop talking, or?
No, I'm here.
Oh, well. All right. Well, I guess I'll start off with mine. I'm a big fan of the 5th generation because that's the one I grew up with, and I'm just gonna say this. I'm a big fan of the old Sony, not the new Sony, but the old Sony, because I'm a big fan of Spyro, Gex, all those good classics out there. But what am I doing? Jirard's the guest of honor. You speak.
I think I'm a weird kind of gamer because I grew up on everything. But I think my most favorite has to be the tie between the Super Nintendo and the Dreamcast. I think those two consoles define retro gaming and kind of set the groundwork for all of the future of current generation of gaming. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Can anyone hear me? I seem to cut out before.
No, you're good now.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with everything. Because I'm right now, I'm only 21, and money was limited back then. So everyone's idea of their favorite consoles really determined on what their parents really bought them.
My parents bought me freaking Mortal Kombat 2 when I was little for the Super Nintendo.
I want to hear from Kira. Kira, what was your first system, and what was your favorite generation?
Well, as far as my first system goes, that's going to have to be the Sega Genesis. And, obviously I did grow up on Sonic, but my favorite generation is going to have to probably be the 6th generation because of GameCube, and also during that generation for consoles, also Game Boy Advance, even though that is handheld. But, it was my first time playing a Sony console, the PS2, and so many different franchises that came out during that generation were awesome. Kingdom Hearts, the first time that Sonic was on a Nintendo console, just so many different franchises is definitely my favorite generation.
Now that's really interesting because recently there is in the new Kingdom Hearts there was a leaked screen or like there's an unlockable screen that hints it's a rhyme like a tweet or whatever about possible Kingdom Hearts 3 and possible an HD remake. So that's very interesting you brought that up. I personally never played any of the Kingdom Hearts. My PS2 broke when those came out, and then I stopped gaming for a while, and I moved on to the PS3, and I started embracing gaming, and then I wanted to get. And I just realized I forgot to introduce myself.
Yeah, good job. You're really professional. Wow. Amazing.
Everyone, I get stable rate from Killjoy videos. That's really about it. But anyway, I want to hear what JC has to say about his favorite generation.
Yeah, and I messed up on my intro. But anyways, well, my first generation, well, I don't know about this whole generation stuff. Let me be as simple as I can. The first kind of games I got into when I was a kid, well, the first game I got into was Diddy Kong Racing for the Nintendo 64. But it was my first game, but like Kira, I was also a Sonic fan with the video games too. And it wasn't until I played Sonic 1 for the Sega Genesis that I really got into gaming altogether. And I realized that, years later, I found that I was more of a platformer gamer, like with the Gex series,
yeah.
The
I hate to interrupt, JC, but your mic is really fuzzy.
Are you on headphones or are you far away from your computer? Must be.
So was the first one to mention that.
Okay. My bad. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me now?
You're good.
You're good.
Okay. Anyways, I'll repeat. Diddy Kong Racing for the Nintendo 64, but when I played Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis, that's when I got into gaming a lot more. So I'm more of a platformer gamer. So games like the Gex series, the Spyro series, Crash Bandicoot, I guess a little bit of the Super Mario series. Those games I really got into. But when I got into Tekken series, that's when I also got into Tekken 3 for the PlayStation. That's when I also got into fighting games. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. I know Jordan wanted to talk about Kingdom Hearts because he's a big fan. I'd like to hear what he has to say.
All right. Well, just to add on to what your comment was about the new game, also, yeah, they did announce at one point that they were going to do an HD remake of the first games, and that was very exciting. And also, the new game is supposed to be a link between Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3, so it's supposed to make the gap between the two games close now. And obviously, the story for 3 is going to continue where the 3DS game left off. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, that means I have to go out and buy a 3DS. So, yeah, was that actually confirmed they're doing HD remakes? Because I would love to go back to that. Well, not go back, but finally get to play them in HD and trophies and all that.
I did hear that. I heard that it was going to be a thing, but it's not confirmed. I did look around and see if it was existent, but so far it's just it's a rumor.
Right, it's a rumor. Well, let's hope that's true. I want to hear from Jirard. He's been very silent. He's our special guest, and a lot of people that are here tonight want to hear from him. So if you want to talk about anything, please bring something up.
I don't know. I mean, the topic we're supposed to talk about is retro versus current generation of gaming, correct? That's the topic.
Yes.
I think that right now we're in limbo with this new generation of games with the Wii U and the supposed Xbox 720 and whatever the next PS4 is, if there is one. I think that right now with the current generation of gaming, we're going to see a big rise in indie gaming kind of take precedence of the market. You've got games like Super Meat Boy, Symphony, what is it, Fez, a lot of these smaller companies coming together to try and take a big piece of the gaming market, and I feel like that's a great way for current generation console people to kind of see what they're going on, because of the fact that classics is what really set us up to play current generations, that's why all these games are so great. Is because they're throwbacks to the classics. So I think that without retro gaming, there would be no. Well, that's kind of like saying without having games to begin with. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, that's it. That's it.
I want to ask, that brings up a good question. Are there any, since we're here because of nostalgia, are there any games that you can see that are this current gen or this current gen, let's say Xbox, Wii, and PS3, that have the potential to be classics? Because there's a lot of games out there that are just being shoveled out for sales. Companies want 6 million units sold. Do you see any games that have stood out this generation, in your opinion?
Well, I think that Call of Duty is a classic because it got old really quick.
Well, classic, I mean, that's a good singer. But maybe a game I could think of is, well, obviously Half-Life 2. I don't know if that would be considered in this generation, though. Would you think?
PC is for every gen.
That is true. I mean, well, if you count it every gen, the only way to measure it would be by graphics cards. But we're moving off right now. I can't think of any classics that would be today. Maybe Skyrim. Skyrim was a big hit. And I thought that the amount of, and Fallout 3 and possibly New Vegas, those games really pushed boundaries in terms of customizing characters and your choices and everything, and having a real karma system, not just I'm going to do all bad, so I'm bad. It's not, or all good. It's not completely black and white. You know?
And as well as Mass Effect with not only custom character customization, but also in the way where you respond to different questions, and how you interact with your party can affect the entire game.
Yeah, see, those type of games are actually my personally favorite games, where you literally get to be the hero. You're not just shooting people in the face. You make the decisions. And Jirard, did you play the Mass Effect series?
Right now, playing through it for the first time right now.
What are you up to?
Just kind of the midway through Mass Effect 2, so I'm still relatively new to the franchise, I'd say.
All right. Well, I haven't played them because I missed out on Mass Effect 1 since it was an Xbox exclusive, and my Xbox is non-existent right now. I'm going to get picking up those games soon. But what do you notice is a major difference between the first and the second? Should have they kept to the original formula with more RPG elements? Because then that brings into question of older games like Banjo-Kazooie, from the original to the nuts and bolts. Like, they really changed the formula and it did not work,
Yeah, it sucked.
Nuts and bolts.
What is that? Someone said my name?
Don't mention nuts and bolts.
I hate that game.
Oh, bring it to the topic. That's a great thing. I mean, are there any games you think that will fall to the wayside and not be considered, that won't live up? Will gameplay not live up to what it is? Will the young kids of this generation remember them? Do you think any game will fall short of that?
I'm so tired of FPSs this generation. I'm just going to say that, because so many first-person shooters everywhere, and they're just trying to overthrow Call of Duty, and I hate Call of Duty, so I don't know it's a lose-lose for me.
Well,
we're definitely going to remember a lot of first-person shooters, and it's going to be hard to, it's a first-person shooter. Like, in 20 years, are we going to remember the difference in, polygons and stuff to say, oh, wait, that's Medal of Honor. Wait, is that Battlefield or Call of Duty? Are the graphics really going to live up and everything to remember the difference between each of them? Because, you look at a World War II game back in last generation, it's kind of hard to distinguish it unless you really know your graphic engines.
Okay, Kira, you can ask your question now.
Oh, Kira, what question?
Oh, yeah, I actually have a question for Jirard on our actual topic, from retro games to current games. When you think of retro games to current games, what is maybe a game or a series that you've seen change a whole lot when it first used to be on retro to what it is now? For example, Metroid 2, and Super Metroid are completely different from the gameplay of Metroid Prime, Metroid Other M. Can you think of any other series that have gone through the same changes?
I think that I'm trying to think what's aged the most, what franchises aged well over the years. I think that ironically enough, in your case, Sonic has been a big changer since the beginning. Started as a 2D platformer, then it went kind of towards this weird 3D route, and then went to a really good 3D route for a few years, and then it went back to the weird, and with Sonic Generations getting back on top again. So Sonic and Sega altogether, their franchises started out so fantastic, and then the current style of current generation of gaming kind of threw them for a loop. Metroid's another one, but I think they did that on purpose. They wanted to try and go a more adult route with the Metroid franchise, because the content in Metroid is pretty adult-like. A badass woman bounty hunter trying to find an alien. It's kind of hard to convey all these great, possible emotions and feelings in a 2D plane when you can do it 3D with a new company, with a new way of innovating. So I think it really depends. I think the one franchise I think that's changed the most, and I think it's gone probably towards the worst, is probably Sonic, in my opinion. And when I say worse, I'm talking like Sonic Unleashed and Sonic and Secret Rings and Sonic and the Black Knight, and
those games are
that
terrible.
kind of Sonic. Yeah, but the thing is that they had a lot of potential. Especially with the current generation of graphics and the possibilities of using the controllers and all this kind of cool stuff. I think that in the end, they just kind of lost their minds. And I think a lot of it was because we have to be different from everyone else. We can't be another FPS. We can't be another platformer. Because Mario Galaxy is this, the same. Needless to say, the same as 64 and Sunshine. And they can't make Sonic a platformer. Sonic isn't about platforming. It's about speed.
Yeah, I agree. And oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I just was saying that's kind of what that's my opinion, is that Sonic kind of is the one that's changed the most, and unfortunately, Sonic Generations was good. I think it was a great step in the right direction. Didn't really understand the whole appeal of going back to 2D Sonic when it was weird to me. Anyways, what were we going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, I do agree. I said I grew up on Sega Genesis, Sonic 1 and 2 and 3, Sonic Knuckles, and then just going and I liked the Adventure series, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, but, I do agree with you on Unleashed, Black Knight, even Secret Rings. When it comes to the retro Sonic games and then those games that I just mentioned, I'm totally gonna have to go retro on that side, because I do agree with you. I feel like Sega kind of failed out on us on those games. But yeah, as you said, Sonic Generation was very excellent, and it's kind of like just a direct thing straight from what the retro game used to be. So yeah, I completely agree with you there.
I have a question for Jirard. Actually, one of a lot of our members in the chat are asking questions, and someone brought up a good question. His name is 2540. He was talking about Metal Gear Solid and how its core gameplay really did not change too much, but added. And Jirard, did you play any of them?
I just played Metal Gear Solid 1 for the first time on the original PlayStation about 2 weeks ago. So it's still relatively new. I'm still kind of trying to soak in all of the awesome that is the game. The gameplay was a little, clunky for me in my taste, but I hear that Twin Snakes is greatly improved, and the engine from Metal Gear 2 and 3 and so on has just gotten better.
It has, and I have to say, that's one game that really stayed true to its roots and didn't really change too much, but added. But ultimately, when it went to 4, which is the most current game next to Peace Walker, but 4 added almost too much. There was a game really can add too many mechanics and not enough opportunities to really use them. And the sad thing about Metal Gear Solid 4 is the production was kind of rushed because Kojima and Konami were really trying to master the architecture of the PlayStation 3. Because remember, a lot of developers for the first 2 years of the system really suffered from that. But if you look from Metal Gear Solid 1, you said it was clunky. It really is, and honestly, I still play it, but I love it for the story. And it's when you look to Twin Snakes, which was a remake of it, a little reimagining and some cutscenes of Metal Gear Solid 1 onto the GameCube. It had the Metal Gear Solid 2 engine, and when they brought it first person, and that really ruin some of the boss fights. And I don't know if anyone can speak up. Can you think of any games that just added too many mechanics, or just that ultimately in sequels it just kind of ruined the experience, or it was too much of the same experience? Can anyone think of anything?
Yeah. Well,
I'm just gonna say Metal Gear Solid 4 was the best movie I ever played.
So I say that, I love Metal Gear, and that's no hate against it.
No, I don't hate it. I do not hate it. I love the game. It's fantastic. I love games filled with story, like Dear Esther. That game is filled with like so much story. The game is pretty much based on story, so I'm not big on I don't typically stay to games with a addicting gameplay mechanic or something like that. I love story-felt games. Dear Esther is a really great example of a game that you absolutely do nothing but move around and look at these beautiful environments, and it's all about the story.
Jirard, have you played that?
With Metal Gear Solid 4?
Dear Esther.
Oh, Dear Esther. Sorry, I was getting kind of jumbled up. I haven't, Mark, my friend who does indie games,
that's exactly how I found out about it.
Yeah, and it's definitely it's an interesting concept. It's one of those games that is kind of the whole debate of is video game art, and I obviously agree that's true. But I didn't get a chance to play it. It's been on my to-do list. I have a big list of games I need to play, and that's definitely one of them.
If you don't mind me interrupting, I want to go back to Kira's question, how she said that games advance too much. One of the games, in my opinion, that has changed way too much, and I think many people will agree with me, will be Resident Evil. Has changed way too much from its third-person, survival horror genre to this third-person, you kind of going from its original roots to, Call of Duty and Gears of War and stuff like that. And also, that's one of the big examples. And also, Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy has went from its roots in retro gaming, and it's changed to, Final Fantasy 13. I know many people do not like it. There is the odd person that does, but it's not the old Final Fantasies, like Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 10, Final Fantasy 6, like Jirard said. It's just not. It doesn't work. They try a different approach, and it doesn't work.
And at the same time, though, I mean, and I'm not saying, I wasn't even saying that, that the older Metroids were better than the new Metroids and they shouldn't change anything. I think it's very interesting the way that they progress these games. And the same with Resident Evil, whether it be Resident Evil 1 or Resident Evil 4, and how different they are. It's still just interesting to see where these companies take these games from where it first started to where it ended. And, sometimes it's not always a bad change. Sometimes it's a good change. And just to me, it's interesting. It's not really, I don't want to call the new generation games bad. It's just because they're different.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's just, sorry about that, Killjoy. I agree with you there. It's just, it's such a change. Like Jirard would probably agree with me. It's just such a change when you go from, from the third-person survival horror walking around the mansion to, zombies having guns, being able to drive trucks, and, they just went with this advanced mechanic that doesn't make sense for the series.
I think the reason why they did change most of these games, though, is because the industry needs to change. If you think about all the pivotal changes in these franchises like Resident Evil, it's on the cusp of a new console. It's on the cusp of new innovation with gaming, and that's the big thing, is that Resident Evil was notorious for being hard for gamers to play because it was, camera angles and the fixed point and not seeing your enemy and using sound and that kind of thing. And people loved Resident Evil, and they loved the franchise, but they hadn't made a new game in years, and so they wanted to go ahead and bring something new to the table. I think that Resident Evil 4 got it right, because the one thing that is consistent in all the Resident Evil games, except for 5, which is why 5 isn't as good, is atmosphere. All of those games just lack atmosphere. I mean, they all have atmosphere, but the new one, Resident Evil 5, doesn't. If Resident Evil, and the problem is that Resident Evil should not take place during the day, flat out.
I agree.
It's made to scare you in the evening when you're alone in the dark, playing with friends, playing by yourself. It doesn't matter. That's problem number 1. Problem number 2 is you can see everything no problem. You can literally see every single monster from far away. You have time to run and react. Resident Evil's not about that. It's all about the whole interactiveness of, I have no idea what's in front of me. I can't see. I'm scared. The atmosphere is there to get you kind of on the roll. So I think that it's a necessity that Resident Evil did change that way. The problem is that with Resident Evil 5, they did not focus enough on atmosphere. I think that's why, that's why I think Resident Evil 6 is trying to get back to it, with another outbreak incident and other, parts of the country happening.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Resident Evil, now I went from Resident Evil 5 to Dead Space, and I felt control-wise, the Dead Space had better gameplay, honestly, and better atmosphere, even though, comparing Africa to space.
Yes, I love Dead Space, and I hate... I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I love Dead Space, and I hate what they're doing with Dead Space 3 with the co-op thing. I think that just kills it.
We haven't played it yet, though. All the PR people say it's still scary. But let's just hope it remains that horror atmosphere, because I played half of 2, and it really wasn't the same as 1. 1 really had better controls than Resident Evil 5. It had better color template, because like someone said about the draw distance and not being as scared, because you could see enemies from a mile away and all of that. It really wasn't, it was real, I felt Dead Space 1 was a horror survival game than the new Resident Evil. Did you play Dead Space?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what's your opinion on that compared to Resident Evil 5? And then I want to move to a new topic. Someone brought up a really great topic in the chat about interactive art, but I'd like to hear what you have to say about Dead Space.
I think that Dead Space did exactly what Resident Evil didn't do, and that's atmosphere. That's literally what it is. You can't see any enemies. They scare you with jump shock factors. Everything is dark. You never feel safe. That's how Resident Evil games were. You never felt safe. And that's kind of what I think that's where Dead Space succeeded. Walking at the same time and shooting also succeeded. That was a big key element we all wanted out of Resident Evil 5. Because,
right.
Which I think they're fixing based on the trailer for Resident Evil 6.
I have a couple things to say, if it's okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Adam. This is
Okay.
RVD Power. He's a great guy, by the way.
Thank you. I want to say a couple of things, though, about, Resident Evil 5, and then, of course, this other kind of game series that changed a lot. And this is going to, first thing I'll just say about the Resident Evil 5. All right, well, we all know Resident Evil has always been hard to scare you, and that's the part I like. I mean, I actually enjoyed it. I mean, as much as I was younger, I didn't like it, but, of course, nowadays people want that, And, well, for me, what I felt like, I still felt like Resident Evil 4 was challenging. It was good. But Resident Evil 5, have you guys ever noticed, doesn't it feel like they give you a lot of ammo that you could collect ammo?
Yeah, that's
you should see my account.
One key element in survival horror games. Limited rations of ammo, food, and stuff like that.
For something like Slender, where you don't have anything at all. Sorry, I interrupted.
Give me $20.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, just before
you guys get what I mean, right? Because I felt like Resident Evil 5 gave you a lot of ammo that you could kill anybody instantly,
Yeah,
But
exactly.
the time I got on the tanker, I felt like I was a Marine. I was just mowing them down. Like, it was not scary at all. It really wasn't.
Yeah, and it wasn't scary either, too. Now, I want to talk about this game series. See, for me, I love stealthy games, and this is going to be a stealthy game. I'm going to talk about that. I love years. It was Splinter Cell. Ever since the first one from Double Agent was the best, because for me those were stealthy enough to be fun and stealthy and enjoy, because I love stealth. And for me, when the new one came out, like Convention, whatever it's called, and then Blacklist coming out, you see how they're making it now all action and not so much stealth anymore? I mean, yes, there's probably a little bit of stealth here and there, but I love hardcore stealth,
Yeah, it seemed the newer games, the Splinter Cell, which I stopped the series after the PS2 because they seemed to hold your hand too much. It's like Convention. It had a mode where you can lock onto your characters and he kills them. It's like press this one button, the game plays for you. I'm not a fan of that in newer games, especially where they give you many waypoints and stuff. Too much direction.
And I'm just gonna say this. I mean, I probably will get Convention, but that's gonna be it. I mean, if I don't see a big improvement of stealth on Blacklist, I'm not going to get it probably. Now, I want to bring up this game series that has not let me down. Can I bring that up, guys?
Sure.
Now, this is another game series that has never let me down.
I guess
the new one
I can guess
this year of
what
November.
it is already.
Hitman.
Yeah, Hitman has never let me down on the series. I've seen a lot of. I've been seeing it be still, which I love. I know there's gonna be some little feature that people are saying, well, you can see through everything. Well, that's kind of like your map, and plus you can turn it off if you have the hard difficulty. So basically, when I get that game, I'm gonna play the hardest difficulty and just enjoy it, because that's gonna be hard for stealth like I love. And that's one game series I hope it doesn't loosen up and die on me, because I do not want the Hitman series to go all action like they did with Splinter Cell.
Yeah, from the retro, the originals on the PC and PS2 and Xbox, and into Blood Money, those games pretty much stayed alive to its truest form out of any game I can really think of. But I want to say this now, Jirard. Have you ever played the Splinter Cell and then you enjoyed Hitman, maybe?
I've only played the first Splinter Cell, and that was it. I haven't played anything else.
That's fine. All right. Someone in the chat really brought something up, because I want to keep the community involved here. Interactive art. Gaming from, like, Nintendo, you played Mario, Sonic, and all that. They did have story, but it wasn't so much as interactive story. It's like, yes, I am playing within a game with a story, but you look at something like platformers and you move on to something like Uncharted, and anyone played Uncharted 2 knows the gameplay and the story are intertwined so perfectly that it's not like a Metal Gear where you're playing game for 20 minutes to an hour, there's like a 40-minute cutscene, and you're back to gameplay. Does anyone hate that progression? Likes where it's going? What do you like about interactive gaming art and how it's evolving today? Where you're in these spectacular set pieces and things relative than just sitting down and playing a simple game like a platformer.
Yeah, I like games that are really artistic. Like, see, I'm not one of those boring people that just like to relax. Like, everyone finds me so boring because I like to relax, and I don't get that. But I like soundtrack and story brings me into a game, and so does art. Art really brings me into a game because I can just look at it for hours. Dear Esther attracted me so much because I literally just take screen caps of environments I thought that was amazing and set it as my wallpaper.
Yeah, it looked. You showed us, and it looked like a painting. It didn't look like a game.
Yeah, it was beautiful, and I wish Skyrim looked like that.
Yeah, I would like to hear from Kira and then Jirard on interactive art and how gaming is going more into that.
Well, on art side of things, and I know it surprises me how many people say that Borderlands graphics are complete crap. I think that they are amazingly unique, and I like them a lot. And I think it's
I agree.
Beautiful piece of art. Yes,
yeah. I'm going to go with Soa in this. Yeah, Dear Esther shouldn't be considered a game. It's more of an experience, like an interactive story. All right, and now back to what you were saying, Kira. I just had to say that.
Well, and Jirard, you said you agreed about the Borderlands art. Like, what do you think about the visuals?
I think it's fantastic. I think that it does a great job at mending and creating a new style of graphics. It has the comic book feel, but it's 3D, and it's very stylized. You could argue that it's got a steampunk kind of vibe, but it's also. I think that there's no game that looks like it, and the fact that there's a mathematical algorithm that determines the guns is gigantic change to most games. Whereas most games like how to get this gun, how to get that gun. I think that that's all I got.
Yeah. Someone brought up on the chat about the difference between graphics and aesthetics, and I honestly agree on that.
All right, so I think we talked about the topic. I think we talked about the topic as much as we possibly could for this podcast.
Yeah.
I
try to stay on topic.
I mean, we could go on more and more if you want to dive into. We did a lot, but if you want to bring up a series about stylizing and art and everything, I would love to talk about it, unless anyone wants to stand up for later.
Yeah, we can do that for another podcast if you want. We can do it for a next podcast.
How about we answer some questions from the chat, maybe for 5 more minutes?
Yeah, we can do that.
Can I say something really quick? Yeah, sure. Can I say something really quick, though?
Okay, Adam. I'm going to gather some questions, and you go ahead.
I was just gonna say this really quick though. Now, of course, I'm just gonna talk about like Splinter Cell again really quick. Of course, the reason why I say Splinter Cell Double Agent would be like the last game I probably buy, but then I know it might get convention since it's cheaper and well, it seemed like it had some stealth. But anyways, yeah, Double Agent for me was the last super stealthy for me. But as I can read it right here, because I'm looking at my computer now, it says that convention was action, adventure, stealth. So I'm gonna give one last try, and that's gonna be like the last one. And as I'm reading Blacklist, it's just saying it's action, adventure. So there is no stealth on here saying it's. I don't think there will be stealth, but there is, then they'll make me happy. But I'm just pointing that out. So I just thought I'd say, convention will be like by the last cell to trust in stealthiness.
Oh,
Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to look for chats for a minute. How often do you guys? Ace2540 asks how many times we stream. We just started. We have about 3 videos up, including this one. We like to stream at least once a week, and usually we're all free on the weekend. So keep an eye out for Saturday and Sunday nights for the G.Gurus Podcast. And if you're wondering what the G for G.Gurus stands for, it's geek or gamer or really anything you want to think of. I don't even know. Guacamole, whatever.
Guacamole.
I was just about to say guacamole. Oh my goodness.
I love guacamole.
Virtual high five.
Germany.
Germany gurus. I don't think that really applies to
We played.
no one's really asking any questions.
Soa asked what Kira's favorite food was.
Yeah, Kira, what's your favorite food?
Oh my, that gaming related, but okay. I guess my favorite food is anything Chinese. Sesame chicken. Ooh.
You gotta come to New York for the best Chinese food.
Oh wow, Neo asked a good one. What direction do you see future gaming going, like genre and such, and where genre would like to see more coming back in the future?
Jirard, answer that. I think people want to hear from you. The direction of gaming depends on where we want to see it. I think the Wii U is going to focus on innovation in terms of the controls, and we'll really have to see what comes out from the other big two. I think that the whole motion control is not necessarily a good way to go, but this whole kind of, you can play it on your iPad, iPhone thing is kind of where they want to steer it, and I just don't think that's the way to go. So we'll see. Only time can tell. And I really wish that that they would just stop selling and repackaging the same thing.
Jordan would like to say something.
Okay.
Sorry, I just wanted to throw in that I agree with Jirard in many ways for how it's going to advance. Honestly, I think what's going to make the decision is most of us people who are buying the games, like how Call of Duty has gotten so popular over it is because everyone buys it, right? So, but in this way, that I think that the Wii U is in the right direction, and I think it's going to be an interesting release to see how it's going to do. But I'm pretty sure the other big two are going to make something very interesting, to be honest. And I think that's probably going to kind of outbeat the Wii U, to be honest.
All right, we got some more questions, guys. Here's another one by Spiteful Toast.
Wait. Let me answer about the next gen on my opinion on the Wii U. I think the Wii U is going to be a lot better than the Wii in terms of sales and better games. Now, not that the Wii doesn't have bad games. It's just motion control. They say it adds a lot more freedom, but it really doesn't. It doesn't add that sense of precision that we have with 2 analog sticks. Now that we have a controller, even with a touchscreen or not, with 2 analogs, triggers, and everything, I really can allow developers to make the games that are on the Xbox and the PSP that we love with extra innovation with the screen and all that. And a great game like that is Zombie U. You can become a zombie and you have to go and scavenge. It's kind of like an untitled Walking Dead, and that's one game I'm really excited for the Wii U. I think the Wii U is going to be my next system of choice, not the PlayStation 4.
All right, Spiteful Toast asked a really good question. He said, do you guys prefer a game like the original Legend of Zelda where you're dropped in the world with zero direction, or like Ocarina of Time where you are led from place to place but solving problems is up to you? I really like that question. I think we should stick to that for a little bit. That's really good.
Jirard, do you want to take that?
Do you want to take that?
Yeah, I guess I can take that one. I think that I prefer the originals over. I mean, with Zelda specifically, I've always thought that, and I'm probably going to flame for this. I always thought Legend of the Past, Link to the Past was, and the top-down 2D ones were better than the 3D ones. I just, there was something, the gameplay just didn't transition well for me to 3D, but maybe it's just because I'm just so old part of a retro gamer. But in the end, I think that the most important thing the game should be, the game I prefer at least, is the retro style. I can't play Ocarina of Time anymore without wanting to throw my controller. It's just, I think it's because I've played it too many times, and it hasn't aged well in my opinion.
Well,
again, it's just my thought.
The game my favorite Zelda of all time is Majora's Mask, because that game is a perfect example of a mix of what you were talking about, Spiteful Toast. Like it does give you some direction, but you still don't know where to go pretty much. You got to figure it out for yourself. And you can go in any order you like of the dungeons, but it throws you in. You don't know where to go. It gives you a couple of hints, and you just go. You explore. And that's what I love about Majora's Mask. And it reveals such a fantastic story for the Zelda franchise. That's just...
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, Jesse, for sure, because I always loved Majora's Mask, and I've always liked Ocarina of Time. It's just, I really like Majora's Mask because, honestly, the mask, whatever you want to call it, is very, very, honestly, it's very interesting. And I really, really liked the 3-day cycle. Most people say they hate that, I really like the 3-day. I really like the 3-day cycle because it made you think of where you were going to go, and you had to plan out where you were going to go. If you didn't do it within 3 days, you have to redo all that, and then on top of that, you have to think about where you're going to go for the next time. So that's my opinion on Majora's Mask.
Okay.
Someone, I don't know if you want to change topics. Anyone? Somebody has a good question.
Well, we can get into the podcast here right now, and then we can just answer questions in a separate Q&A session if you want.
If anyone would want to leave or anything, I don't know if anyone wants to. I'm having such a great time.
I'm having a really fun time right now.
Yeah, I think we're getting better and better at speaking and not stuttering as much. And I'd like to thank our special guests tonight, Jirard and Jordan, for joining us. And our newest member, well, not the newest, but the most current member to our most recent podcast, Kira the Hedgehog.
And we have so many questions to answer. There are so many questions.
I know. These people really want to hear opinions.
Yeah, and I like it. Let me read off another one real quick. By the Real Super Dave.
Do a video instead of keeping this going?
Oh yeah, we can always switch it up if you want to stop recording. We can
no, it's fine. I love this. For anyone who didn't get to come, we can just keep on going. Let's see. The Real Super Dave asks thoughts on re-releases of older games with nothing more but an HD upgrade. That is something I want to talk about because. Thing is, with Final Fantasy VII, they re-released it, but not graphically updated, but they did add more features to it.
That new release, I think it's going to be interesting to see how well it sells because it is Final Fantasy VII, right? And that game has a huge following. But all it's adding is cheats pretty well. That's all it's doing. It's adding cloud saves. It's adding boosters for your health if you want. You can make yourself have maximum stats, and some achievements, and that's about it. They're not updating anything for graphics or anything. They're just putting all these extras in that no one will probably use if you're a hardcore Final Fantasy VII fan.
Yes.
Do you have anything to say about this, Jirard?
I pass.
Pass.
I'm gonna leave you. Just leave it alone. But, what's that?
You seem really tired. You've been really busy this week.
Yeah, well, it's just playing games, man. When you play games as much as I do, for the show, you kind of forget to sleep. So
really, how does gaming affect your health? That should be another podcast of it. But with your eyesight, has it changed over the years from the amount of hours looking at screens?
I don't think so. Not yet, at least. If anything, it's made me be able to read a little quicker, a little faster in terms to interpret what's coming at the screen really quickly. But yeah, that's just me. I'm fine. Sorry to bring everyone down.
You're good, man.
Well,
You're fine.
we got plenty of more questions, guys. So if you want to keep on answering questions, I'll say some more.
Yeah, go ahead. Ask a simple one, not like an hour-long discussion.
All right, let's see here. Oh, let's see. There was a game in
I can answer at least.
We got 10 minutes.
Is there any personal questions you want to know about the Gurus or Jirard or any of us guys?
Huh?
I don't know. Someone. I'm asking the chat to anyone.
Well, I feel like this is the time to ask me questions because I'm just here. I'm here to talk with you guys.
Well, how about you ask questions? What is? I mean, you've been busy, so you haven't looked at our channels. What do you have any questions for us?
Yeah. Do you anything?
Are you talking about me or the audience?
No, us. Like Jirard, do you have any questions about us personally?
You mentioned how you've seen some of Kira's videos, actually.
Yeah, I somehow stumbled upon Kira's videos a couple of times. I think I don't know how, but I've seen some of them. But I guess I don't really have questions as so much as to. Like, what inspires you? Don't say me. What inspires you to want to do what you do with YouTube? And,
well, I can answer that.
What keeps you going? What keeps you motivated?
I can answer that very easily.
And I can too after Jesse.
I got the cure.
All right. Well, what inspires me is I just love to play games for people. Like, ever since I was a kid, I really wouldn't get into a game unless I was with a friend or something. So I wanted to share, like, a lot of my friends say I'm quite entertaining watching me rage at a game if I do. So I decided to start recording myself. And now I've inspired myself to, like, bring awareness of older games to the public. Games that not many people have heard of. Like, Silhouette Mirage for the PlayStation 1 is one that pretty much no one has heard of, but it is fantastic. And I recommend that one to you, Jirard. What's kept me going is that I just love doing the videos, and they're enjoyable to edit. I love, and that's just pretty much what keeps me going. And the group is keeping me going as well. The G.Gurus group.
And Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew tickles my innards.
Tickles his innards. Inside joke with the Gurus. Kira, you wanted to say.
Oh, well, I guess no one really knows. I guess what I really feel like is an inspiration for me to keep doing my channel is when, I started watching Jack the Bomb's channel and Nintendo Fangirl, Alpha Makes, and these huge YouTubers, and I decided to make my own. And I wasn't really, feeling that I should just continue. But as I would look up other girl gamers on YouTube, I would see them playing, Call of Duty. That's the only game they know how to play. It's the only game they do play. All they want to do is wear trashy clothes and just get attention from their bodies, and they don't actually want to be on YouTube to talk about the games, talk about the enjoy about the games. And I feel like there just needs to be more, girls on YouTube to say, hey, not all girls on YouTube are just out there to, like, throw their boobs out on people, or to just say, oh, I can play Call of Duty. There are, girls out there that play games.
Yeah.
That's true. Personally, what got me to do this, because I'm very new to YouTube. I just got signed by Yash, but I've only been on for about 2 months. For most, get a little deep. I hope you guys don't mind. I personally suffer from depression. And I really, not to find a hobby, but I wanted to find other people like me. I was so isolated. I wouldn't be friends with anyone. Like, I was a loner. No one liked me, I don't know why. I'm very nice, I think, but I'm not an ass. But I decided, like, I had a camera. I have an expensive camera. I have a lot of gaming stuff. I have gear. I don't personally do Let's Plays. I'm starting this month because most of my channel stuff is collection videos, reviews, first-hand impressions on toys, action figures, video games, stuff like that. And what keeps me going is talking to people like me. And that's why we formed the G.Gurus, is to have a community to talk about not just the games, but the people behind the games, the people who are playing them, that we're not just alone out there in the dark, our parents would go outside. And, well, I don't need to go outside. All my friends are on the computer. computer, we're on a chat all the time, having Skype calls, all of us right now. And, now we started to record that because we're having great discussions, and that's what's keeping me going. You guys are keeping me going. You guys are my inspiration. I mean, Kira, the first inspiration, because she's the one who made me start a YouTube channel because I started talking to her. But you guys are all great people. I love you guys.
Aww.
I make Kira blush.
And I also have one more thing to say about my inspirations. Like, when this group first started, I was not working on my channel at all, and I was about to give up on it. But this is when the group started. Kira did a live stream, and Kira decided to take Skype calls from fans that were wanting to call in. I was the first in, and then she just started adding a bunch of people. Then we ended up, 30 minutes after the stream ended, we ended up talking up until 4 in the morning. The stream ended at 11, around there. We ended up talking until 4 in the morning, just about games, and we're bonding really closely. And this is what inspired me to keep on going. Is like, if I'm really going to be a part of this group, I have a reason to keep my channel going again. And it was a great night. But Jirard says he has to go.
Sorry guys, we're gonna wrap it up here anyway because it's about 4 minutes to midnight on the East Coast at least.
Yeah, Jirard says he has to leave, but I think I'm gonna keep streaming the call.
Yeah, we're gonna keep streaming. But we're gonna end the record here. So let's do the outro. I am Sable Rage from Killjoy Videos.
I'm Blue Neon Pinky from Let's Play Blue Neon Pinky's Let's Plays, of course.
We have Kira. Say goodbye, Kira.
Pikachu.
She is a delight. Now we have Jordan.
Hey guys, we'll talk to you later if you guys are interested. I don't have a channel or anything, but honestly, if you guys were willing, I would be willing to start one.
Yeah, you should start one. You should be a member of the group because you are a very informative person we have to talk to. Also, High Games. I don't think we heard from Grant.
We haven't.
Please say something to and then Adam. And then,
sorry, my mic was muted.
It's fine.
The whole time?
No, like half of the thing.
Fun job. Adam, would you like to say goodbye?
Yeah, folks, I'm RVD Power. If you just like random stuff, check out my channel.
And Jirard, the man of the hour who joined us, thank you for bringing your fans here and talking to us. We had a great time. I know you've been very tired. You didn't have to do this, but you took your time out to help some of the little folks on YouTube, and we are all grateful, and we hope to have you back on.
Thanks, guys. Rock and roll.
It really was enjoyable.
Trucking.
I really thank you for spending time with us and everything. It's really an honor.
Thank you, Jesse, for setting it up and talking to Jirard. Otherwise, wouldn't. Also, with G.Gurus, that's gamers G.Gurus.
You're cutting out a lot.
Have a YouTube. You can follow us in this video.
Jirard, Josh, you're really cutting out really badly.
And so we thank everyone. You can find our channel in the G.Gurus featured channel on the side at the bottom. You can subscribe to us, talk to us, to Twitter, Facebook. We all love talking to you. We want to be a community. We want more Guru members. We want this to be a group effort, not just a blessing.
Yeah, we want us to be bigger. We want us to be like bigger YouTubers. We're a community of YouTubers that is growing.
Yeah.
And we just want to bring people together. We want to bond. We want to make a bond of YouTubers, like not just through videos and such, like actual friends, like people who talk to each other.
We're friends, then networking YouTubers. That's really about it. So thank you all for joining us. We're going to end the recording here, and that is Blue on Pinky's Q.
All right. Well, thank you for watching, guys, and I'll keep the stream up, but the podcast ends here on YouTube. So we'll see you guys later.
All right.